All right, something special here for the podcast. For the folks out there that love sports, as a former athlete myself, I love it. My co-host is not here today. He loves it as well. But as the NFL and college football season is descending upon us coming up soon, I wanted to do something around a technology that's actually helping athletes out there reducing concussions. And that is Carter Hogg, who's the CEO over at GatorTech. And he's Gator Skin, excuse me, and he's joining me on the Can We Please Talk podcast today to talk a little bit more about this incredible technology. Carter, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Carter, I know obviously your life story, and I know a little bit more about the technology. We're going to get into all of it in just a second, but why don't you tell our audience a little bit more about what it is you guys are doing over at Gator Tech and like all of the work you guys are doing around this piece of technology, and then the life story, backstory as to why you invented this.
Yeah, so GatorTech is a new company in the PPE space for sports equipment. And what we're trying to do is innovate all of the different protective equipment that is associated with athletes so that not only can we maximize their ability to stay on the field, but we can also maximize their athletic performance when they're actually on the field. And the first product that we have tackles the issue of concussions, and it's designed to help reduce that risk of concussion while still allowing a player to have full range of motion, full mobility, essentially get all of these amazing benefits in terms of protection to any sort of head and neck injury without the drawbacks to added weight or anything that might make a player not want to wear something like that. And where that comes from, and that product's called the Gator Skin, it's our first product, is because my brother suffered a traumatic concussion his junior year of college. And I saw him go through a year-long recovery period. Not only did he have the very common memory issues, headaches, blurred vision associated with concussions, but he also had a deeper shock to his endocrine system. His hormone levels were completely thrown out of balance. And it took him a year just to get back to where he was before that hit that he took. And unfortunately, it cost him his college career, but now he's doing a lot better. But is something that really drove us to move forward and caused me to sit down and try to address this issue in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, again, I love the story behind it. And I was reading an SB Nation article a little bit more about the family history. And, for the people out there listening and watching us here, I happen to know Carter and his family for a while now, as one of my best friends was actually your former teacher, Jared Fishman. He'll get a kick out of that and you being on the podcast. But why don't you actually show our audience that's watching on YouTube? Apologies to the listeners out there that are going to be listening to this. But if you're watching us on YouTube right now, Carter's actually going to show us what the technology kind of looks like and take us through a little bit of, because I know you played college football, like a little bit of like how you would wear this around game preparation, because as a former athlete in a different sport, athletes are creatures of nature, right? Like in terms of what they're going to wear, armbands, headbands, etc. So why don't you showcase a little bit of like how the product actually works and how you would wear it?
Yeah, totally. So as you can see, it's a completely pliable, flexible device. I can crumple it up in my hands. So when I put it on, it's pretty simple to actually wear. You just throw it on like a hood. We have a double wide strip of Velcro so that you're able to get a lot of adjustability in terms of the fit of the neck. And it's worn underneath your shoulder pads and helmet. You're able to open up the top, pop it off like a hood if you wanted to. It's a very, very pliable thing and really easy to wear. You can just wear it underneath your shoulder pads the entire game. And if you don't want it on your head when you're on the sideline, it's really easy to just pop off like a hood.
Boy, that looks really. I didn't know that the top popped off. So that is really cool to see because, like I said, a lot of athletes. What is some of the feedback you've gotten from some of the athletes that have actually worn it, and especially when they see the data around all of the reduction in concussions? I know it's like 60% in football, 80% for some of the other sports out there. So why don't you tell our audience a little bit first about the data collection around it and the minimization of concussions, but then also what is some of the feedback you're hearing from athletes when they've actually tried this technology?
Yeah, so what we've done is we tested the Gator Skin at the Virginia Tech Helmet Lab. They're one of the premier testing centers for all sorts of helmets, specifically football helmets. If you're going to go online and kind of see the Virginia Tech 5-star rated helmet for hockey or football, this is the same testing that we brought the Gator Skin through. And what that implies is it's essentially a crash test type of dummy that measures all the accelerations of the head, and you essentially can see how well the product itself is helping to reduce the movement of the head during the collision. You get very specific, quantifiable data in terms of the ability for these different products to reduce your risk of injury. And we saw some very, very positive numbers for the Gator skin, as you mentioned, some of them in terms of the relative risk reductions for sports like football, hockey, and we tested skiing as well. It's a very, very positive product, seeing as high as relative reductions of 61%, absolute reductions 59%, and it's just been very tremendous in that regard. And the athlete feedback's been very similar in terms of what we've seen when they've actually dove into that data and seen the positive impact it can have on the player's safety. Obviously, it's a new thing; no one's ever seen something like this before, so getting them to try it on in the first place might be a little bit difficult. But once we have them actually wearing it, uh, I think people start to realize it's not an encumbrance in any way. It's something they can really easily integrate to the existing equipment. And I mean, I can tell you, when you put the cooling gel packs in there, we have some pockets along the back of the neck and upper shoulder. You're able to, in really hot temperatures, you feel a lot better. I've been running around at 110 degrees out here in Dallas, and it feels a lot cooler than just the normal helmet and shoulder pads.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing an interview for Shark Tank here, where you're pitching me on a product that is amazing and also life saving. I take the parent in me, and I know your dad Jason really well, and obviously as a parent, you want to do things for your kids that kind of minimizes the risks associated with playing some of these sports. So for the mom and dads out there that are maybe listening to this program that are like, I got somebody that's going to be in youth football this year or youth hockey this year, how can they either purchase this product, find out more about it, or maybe even purchase it, at a team level, league level? Like, what are some ways that folks can kind of find out a little bit more about this? And what's the price points of this?
Yeah, so right now it's $189 on our website. You're able to order it for pre-order right now. We're going to start actually fulfilling orders within the next month or so. And you just go to gatorskin.com. That's G8, the number 8, R skin.com. And you're able to see all the different testing data and everything's up there. You can learn more about the product. We have more descriptions up on the website. You can see photos if you want to take a closer look at what it actually looks like. And you can place any sort of pre-order for individual players, and then we also have a team buy option. We can place a larger order, and you get a discount for that.
Carter, one thing I was just thinking about as you were talking there about, prices and teams and stuff like that. There's been so much devoted over the last few years to movies about concussions, right? You had the movie Concussion, right, with Will Smith and the famous case that happened there in the NFL and Mike Webster committing suicide, and then some of the work that has been done in the scientific community around CTE. And you got programs like Real Sports on HBO that have done different pieces on concussions across some of these sports. The reason I'm thinking of all this is like, what's your goal with this product? You mentioned your brother's story, and obviously you guys come from a family of inventors across different spaces. So what are some of your goals for this product? What's the end goal for you, Carter, that this is successful? This has been introduced now. It's become commonplace for people to wear it. Like, where is the goal for Carter in terms of this product?
Uh, the large goal is to just reduce the overall number of concussions and to basically spare people of having to go through the same experience as my brother, while still allowing people to experience the wonders of sports like football or other team sports. It's played such an integral part in my life, the life of my brother, my father, so many of my other family members and friends, in terms of just helping to formulate some of the different experiences, thought processes, and teaching us so many different lessons. And to be able to allow people to have those experiences without the fear of injury and without having to have all those negative drawbacks if you do suffer an injury. So that's the main goal with the Gator skin. It's to help players to experience the joys of sports without the drawbacks and the trepidation associated with injuries.
I love it. And we're going to have links in our show notes if you want to find out more about the company. You heard Carter mention the website that you can go check it out, gatorskin.com, G8, the number 8, rskin.com. We'll have links in our show notes about it. and how you can purchase this product or at least find out more about it. Carter, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast with me. Continued success around this product. I love the story and I love the mission that you guys are trying to solve here with respect to minimizing risk in terms of playing these sports. So continued success to you, sir. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching the Can We Please Talk podcast. Whatever clip you just watched, we hope you enjoyed it. And we hope you stick around for some more. Subscribe to the channel. My partner's over here smashing the button. Come on, do him a favor. So hit subscribe.